Georgia takes down Missouri 30-21 here at Sanford Stadium. And Chip Towers, we do not get many close games here in Athens, do we?
I mean, there are a lot of Georgia fans might not agree with me, but man, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was.
They're like, no, we want to win every game by 50.
Yeah, they do, and a lot of hearts. I understand that, but man, what a great game! You had a little bit of everything in here. You had some great defense. You had some fantastic offense. You had interceptions, big moments, weird penalties, all kinds of reviews. Some of them stood up, some of them didn't. This is a great game. I got to tell you, we're here to talk about Georgia mainly, but I was really impressed with Missouri. I really like what Eli Drinkwitz does. Man, that's a good program. They're maddening to play. They're different to play. But this was a no-nonsense win. Top 12 matchup. The SEC Eastern Division playoff is the way I look at it at this point, continues, and it just gets bigger with Ole Miss next week. So I thought it was a fantastic game. Really enjoyed it. Fun to report on, and you just can't wait to see what's next.
Missouri put together that big drive in the fourth quarter, gets the 2-point conversion, and it's a 3-point game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What did you see from Georgia as far as how they responded after that?
Well, they couldn't have responded any better, and it was actually interesting, something that I didn't notice in the course of the game. I guess there's no way I could have, but Kirby talked about Cedric Van Pran greeting the defensive players as they came off the field. Said, don't worry, we got you. Hey, good job. We got you. Don't worry, we got you. And they had them. It was truly a team win, defense, offense, and special teams. Peyton Woodring coming through. What a huge kick.
And he made his career-long 48 to essentially, Carson Beck said that essentially iced it.
Yeah, that pretty much put it away. It made it a 9-point game. And like you said before that, it could have gone anyway. And Nazi Stackhouse.
You want to talk about this interception so bad.
It's a guy right? He's a nose guard, for God's sakes. Yes. He never gets to touch the ball.
Taking it 44 yards down the field. Now, some of it got called back.
Wow. But... I mean, think about that. That was essentially a 70-yard penalty. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look to get it exactly. That was a huge penalty. It was a huge play, and the penalty didn't take away from the gravity of the play. But, you're sitting down here, first and goal if they don't have that penalty. Georgia really puts it away right there. There was a lot of game to be left to be played because of that penalty, and it was a tough one.
Georgia coach Kirby Smart really sings Missouri's praises too. Like you're saying, you're so impressed with Missouri. We're all so impressed with Missouri. It almost feels like that program is just waiting for its signature win. But we know how explosive that offense can be. Quarterback Brady Cook, running back Cody Schrader. How did you see Georgia's defense try to respond and tamper those guys? Well,
we're going to hammer, and Kirby's going to hammer on the rushing that you gave up. And Cody Schrader, this was my first up-close look at that kid. Goodness gracious. He's good, but at the end of the day, there was a wrinkle in there that I didn't really notice at first in the course of the game. I did notice that for whatever reason, Kamari Lassiter ended up covering Luther Burden a lot, but I didn't realize they actually fully put him in the star and switched out, Tyke Smith to doing some corner and extra safety stuff. There was. I talked to Aaron Taylor this week of CBS, and he was just raving about Georgia's back seven, which we probably haven't talked about enough. We talk a lot about the front seven. He said Georgia's back seven is really, really good. And they did have that little wrinkle in there, which kept Lassiter on Burden most of the game. Burden got hurt. He came back, but having him gimpy and out of a lot of that game helped a lot. Kamari Lassiter covering the slot, a big part of that game plan.
This game gives Missouri 2 losses in conference, so Georgia is fully in the driver's seat in the SEC East. But one thing negative to come out of this game, Jamon Dumas-Johnson might have a fracture in his forearm, it sounds like. That would be a huge loss for Georgia.
Yeah, it's definitely a fracture. I had the good fortune to happen to just catch Jamon as he was coming off the field. No offense, Claude or Kirby, he was just there, and I just asked him.
He was walking right past
I was like, can you play with that? And he said, I'm going to try. So we'll see, but my understanding is it's a fractured forearm. So, that's not, and that's unconfirmed at this juncture, but that's what everybody seems to believe it is. And, he plays linebacker. He plays it great. He made a great play on that particular play. when he was hurt. So if he can't go, that's a problem for Georgia getting ready to play Ole Miss and that great offense. They run the ball like you won't believe either. You tend to think of Lane Kiffin and them, and it's a passing game. They run the ball too. That'll be a tough loss if he can't. But Georgia has a bunch of young talent at linebacker, and we hear it all the time. Next man up, they'll have to step up big next week.
When you're about to face running back Quinshon Judkins, you really do not want to be losing a guy like Jamon Dumas-Johnson. This is the first of 3 straight contests for Georgia against ranked SEC opponents, and Georgia passed. What are your thoughts on what they do moving forward?
Yeah, they just get bigger. I mean, Ole Miss will be bigger. They're ranked number 10. They may move up. I haven't seen what everybody did on this particular Saturday. But they just get bigger. And I mean, so if you take Georgia's going to clinch the East if they win that game, all right? That means they're in Atlanta, and that's so important. But with the streaks on the line, everything else is going to Georgia. You don't want to put your destiny in the hands of the committee because I think a one-loss team could get to the SEC championship game. But anyway, one game at a time. Ole Miss is going to be huge. But you know what? They got to come back here. And Georgia is 43-4 under Kirby Smart now on this field. That's incredible and really amazing, and they had to fight for it tonight.
It's a big advantage. This test down, more to come. Thanks to all of you for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more videos just like this one.